just rolling around. I remember that song about the company store that like, was it come out in about the 1930s? Probably about the same, I don't know, about the same time Big Rock Candy Mountain came out. But talked about, in the company store and all this stuff. And I've seen pictures of some of the company stores. You know, actually, I gotta say they look pretty nice for the time. The concept of corporate script, the money, not money, but notes that could be exchanged on the facility for things at the store, services, whatnot, having housing already set up and built. And I'm sure condition of the housing could have varied from place to place, time to time, industry to industry. But I've often wondered if I like to hear the contrarian view of that. It's like, well, what do I work and what do I get? Another day older, deeper than debt. And what if there was a contrarian opinion who came from a guy during the time that actually liked the company store and thought the arrangement suited him and his family just perfectly? Like some guy that's like, all, hey, we got bourbon, we got bourbon tonight, honey. We're going to have the boys come over and we're going to have a smoker tonight, and we need you to put some bourbon on the account and maybe bake us a cake or bake us something, something like that. Kind of like a contrarian opinion, like a guy that just loved the company store to death. Wouldn't it be like hilarious if they had like a skit where there's a guy who just loves the company store and doesn't care, and probably won't has no plans to ever move off the facility and pay his bill. All right, come on, let's go. And that sort of thing. And it was like hilarious how it's always one-sided, where the company store is this horrible thing. And it would have been hilarious to say like how some guy maybe liked the company store and actually enjoyed it and liked to go buy the products at the company store, and just something hilarious like that. Like, honey, go to the store tonight and get some bourbon. The boys are coming over. Get a box of cigars, It's just kind of like some dude that just loves the company store and doesn't care. He thinks the company will be there forever. Maybe his wife absolutely hates the guy. He, in her heart of hearts, knows that it's just nothing out there for him at the time. Nothing but the Great Depression and horrible working conditions, and it'll just be arduous and uphill. And even she knows that's the best they're ever going to see, because at least they're able to feed themselves. I thought it's just kind of hilarious. All right, let's go. Come on. What? No. Now. Move. I thought it would have been hilarious to basically say, come on, let's go. Let's move up the hill. Let's go. I'll carry you if you don't move. Come on, let's go. And it would have been hilarious to say that up the hill now. Come on. Right, let's go. Let's move. Let's go. And the whole point is to this guy, he's got his little house, and every Friday his buddies come over, and they have a box of cigars and a card game, and maybe have like some dinner, and they basically, they'll be drinking whiskey, a couple fifths of whiskey from the company store. Maybe the wife baked cookies, and she absolutely hates her husband. They know they'll never pay the debt off. And they know that, and she knows that she'll probably never leave the facility because they'll always be working. They're trying to pay the debt off. They'll only get company script. They'll just be there forever. But she knows that in her heart of hearts that it's not any better out there. There's nothing any better for them. They know it's washing clothes in the river. They know that it's tents along the river. They know it's arduous working conditions, or It's a house with maybe a furnace, maybe a small patch of grass across the way with some swing sets and some stuff for the kids to play on, like a little park. And they're eating good, and they'll never pay. They know that she's paying way more in debt than what those groceries are really worth. But she also knows that if she bounces, the only way she's going to make it is in the city and find some guy who's, relatively well off, getting paid in dollars. Or she can stick with her man who's at the company store, loves the company store, loves the arrangement, getting paid in script. And they know they're eating. She knows this sucks, but it's as good as it's going to get. And I'd like to hear like some kind of skit or something that's based on the contrary to hating on the company store, like the antithesis of hating the company store, loving the company store, liking the experience of going to the company store, seeing the other people to say hi to them. I always thought it'd be hilarious to have that as a perspective, as a counter perspective. Because I'm sure not everybody hated it. There's got to be a couple people that liked it. But it'd be funny to sit there. I'm sure there's a couple lone voices in the woods that love the company store, and they love going to the dinner parties at night. Not really a dinner party, but like a get together, and having some liquor and getting a little bit liquored up, maybe playing some cards, and her husband knows they just came from however long of headed out west trying to get to sunny California, and maybe they stopped off at the spot and said, hey, this isn't a half bad place to take a rest. And they're not making dollars. They're not paying their debt to the store off. And I'm not sure if they can or can't leave the facility or what, but maybe it wasn't all bad for everybody all the time. Maybe there's a few people that it was a step up. I knew people who lived during the Depression. I knew people who lived on dirt floors. They lived in squalor. I knew a man, and I used to work for a man, him and his brother. And my dad also worked for him too. But and they lived along a river, the riverbank. They'd do their clothes in the river, and they lived in tents and slept in tents as children. And I remember the older of the two brothers, because my mom worked for him too for a while. He said, okay. And he told my mom one time, she had a cash register job at one of his businesses, and he said, I'm never going to be poor again. He says, I'll never be poor again. The hell with being poor. I've been through that, and it's never going to happen. And it didn't happen. He'd be in that office at his place late into the evenings, super notoriously not really cheap, but he would do charitable things every so often, but in his personal life, extremely frugal. And he, as far as I know, he's a multimillionaire along with his brother. And it came from that place of seeing what the sting and the arduousness of poverty is like. And it changed him forever. He'd never go back. So while everybody can't go out and just start being a serial acquirer of businesses, because that's what he pretty much did, is he just bought a lot of businesses, had a lot of real estate. Amazing to see even the real estate in other towns and parts of the country he had. He was just really into properties. Not so much residential, but business type lands and necessarily actual cash generating retail and service businesses. Know another guy, he grew up in the Great Depression. He had lived in dirt, same situation, dirt floors, things like that. And he had, eventually he went to World War II. After World War II, came back and worked for a utility company up in the upper levels of it. So, also there were some changes in the economy after the war too. But the first two brothers that I mentioned, the other one later on, I don't know if he necessarily liked the sacrifices he made or not. I'm not sure if he did or not. But the other brother was all on board. He was 100%. I'm not going to be poor again. And he put things into motion to make sure he never ran out of money. Died at a relatively young age. But I used to know a lot of these people. I used to know a lot of people that lived in the Great Depression. And I never known any that kind of, because I'm out in California. Those are kind of the ones that made it out to California. But I never known any ones that managed to stop off and work at the company store. Now I could have my history timelines goofed up. Maybe the company store was before the Great Depression. Somebody might probably will chime in and say that. But things were pretty difficult back then. And I'm curious about that happy-go-lucky gentleman who's at the company store, and he's all, honey, the boys are coming over tonight. We're going to have a smoker. Smoker is like a lot of guys getting together around a card table, playing cards and having some drinks. It's called a smoker because they usually smoke cigars. And he said, honey, get together, boys. Your boys are having a smoker. And I need you to go down to the company store. And I need you to charge me some bourbon. And I need you to charge me some flour. I want you to maybe bake some cookies too. Maybe we'll roast a chicken. I'll have a roasted chicken, couple chickens. Can you do that, honey? And she's just stirring some pot or folding some laundry, just gritting at her teeth. Son of a bitch will never get us out of here. But we just came from living along the riverbanks, and I hated it, and I hate this too. But I know that nothing's going to be better than the company store in our lives, and this is as good as it gets. I kind of wonder if there's an antithesis to people who hate the company store, like people who actually thought the arrangement was sort of ideal, comfortable, and in the back of their mind they know why it wasn't the best. They know that it wouldn't get any better for them. So, well, anyway, don't worry about the haters. Just let the haters worry about you. See you guys on the next one.